everyone, this is Heather and I'm back with another video. Today I am very excited to share the end of my project life for April. Yes, I'm still on April, and I made a video recently talking a bit about how I'm hoping to catch up per se in the next couple months anyways. I really do want to finish this project and complete all of 2016, so I hope that by the end of 2016 I will be almost to the point where I have it completed. I did just finish April, as I said, so if you haven't seen the rest of this before, or if you've never watched my Project Life videos before at all, go check out my playlist. I will link it below, but I will just jump right into this. So all that I had left for April was a work trip that I went on at the very end of the month, and I wanted to sort of do those photos justice because it was a really fun time for me. So I was a little bit nervous about actually doing that. So once I got started, I sort of got in a groove, and it was not as scary as I thought it was going to be, as it usually happens. I mean, scrapbooking is meant to be fun for me, so I make it what I want. So anyways, here we go. This is my title card for this part of the trip, or this part of the month, I mean. So I just used some wood veneer letter stickers as well as some black ones, and sprinkled a few sequins around, and just journaled what this generally was about and the dates, so it gives an overview. Then I have this picture on the way to there, and I didn't embellish this at all. I just did some journaling right on the photo using a bronze gel pen, which I really like. This pen is an old one from Creative Memories, but it still works really well, and I like how that looks. It's quite cool. And it sort of adds to the outdoorsy look, I think. Then I have this bear picture, and I just added some washi tapes, a little sticker, and a paper clip, and a bit of journaling here. So that's the first page there. Next, I have this smaller 6x8 page, and I had a bunch of square photos, as you'll see on the back as well. So I typically put pattern paper up here with some washi tape strips, which you may have seen previously, but I wanted to mix it up a little, so I added these shaker pockets, and I've been wanting to do more of this lately, so I figure it was a good opportunity. And all that I did to do this, you will see in the process at the end of this video. I did do some process for these pages, so you'll see some of it. All I did was back these photos double-sided first, then stitch across here, add my sequins, stitch across again, and I just wanted to finish off the top edge a little bit, so I added this skinny gold washi tape on both sides. So I really like how that looks. Here I just added a label sticker and some washi and some staples, and that's my pretty typical decoration throughout. Here I used my Jasmine Jones roller stamp from Studio Calico with all the food things on it. So I really like that page. And then I wanted to carry on that sort of shaker look. So for this one, I used a 6x8 pocket page, and I did that because these photos I have were 4.5 inches tall by 6, and that's just the proportion that my phone usually takes them at. It's a 3x4 proportion, but if I want them 6 inches wide, they're a bit taller. So I didn't want to crop this one to 4x6, so I just put it in this type of pocket. So what I did here again first was put in the sequins and the glitter, and I typically pick colors that coordinate with both sides. So you'll see here I picked the orange for the sushi, but it also looks good with this other side, and I tied it in with the washi tape here. So here I picked sort of a bronze sequin color to sort of try to pull out that red roof, and it goes with the orange paper up here too. So I like how that looks. And then on the back side here, I again had that 4.5 inch tall photo, so I put the pattern paper at the bottom this time, and I used this sort of reddish orange paper that ties in with these bronze sequins really nice, and then tied in the greenish sequins with this washi tape here. And then you'll see how I did this part in the process video, but I just wanted to add in my ephemera, the map of the hotel, not that I stayed at, but the hotel that the conference was at. And then the last page, which I didn't do any process for, is this one. So I just included some photo from the hotel. Here is what our booth looked like, and I used this ribbon that I had on my name tag to just add in there. And I like that. And then for the bottom here, I used this wave sort of paper to show the food, and added this paper clip because on the back, this is actually the back side of this wave paper, so I just reused it because all I wanted to do here was throw in my hotel keycard information, and I just paper clipped it so that it would look good on both sides and this wouldn't flop around because it's not actually adhered in there. And so then for this page, which is the very last page in my album, because as you can see it's quite full, so I'm going to start with May Project Life in a new album, and I'm moving to the 9 by 12 format, so I'm excited to try that out. 6 by 12 was new to me at the beginning of this year as well, so I'm just trying out all the new things. So that is the end of this whole album. You can see it's quite thick. I managed to fit a lot in here, and it is only 4 months, but because it's the 6 by 12 size, it sort of condenses it a lot. If I had the 12 by 12 side, I would of course have half this amount. I still haven't completed my title page. I'll be working on that, and I'll show you if I ever do complete it. But yeah, I will now get right into the process video, so if you're interested in that, stick around. If you've seen all you need to see, thank you so much for watching. So here I am with the process video. If you're interested, I'm also inserting a couple clips of the wildlife I saw at the end of this, so even if you don't want to watch the process video, I hope that you go to the very end and check that out because it is quite cool. So anyways, I am starting with this title card, and I wanted to make this just sort of to divide this little part of the album because it all goes together, and I had quite a few pictures from this trip, and even though it is part of April, I still wanted it to have sort of its own title card. And so I'm using this green sort of paper on here, and I tie that in throughout the rest of these photos, which I like how it turned out. It was sort of a happy accident that I ended up coordinating it all, but I did pick out this green color, and then I tied in some orange and blues throughout as well. I hadn't planned that, like I said, but if I were to do this again on this title card, I would have used the orange instead of the yellow because that's what I used throughout the rest of this. But I don't mind. I'm not going to change it, and I like how this looks. I just would have done that if I had planned ahead, I guess. But the reason I used yellow here is I was trying to pull out the sort of yellow colors from that middle photo, the mountain sunrise photo. So it still works on this part, I think. And I'm just adding a couple of washi tapes to the bear photo. I used that black one and the green that ties in the top card, and just added a yellow paper clip to tie in the yellow as well. And I used a sticker here as well. What does it say? I'm trying to remember. It's sort of a travel theme one anyways, I don't quite know, but I like embellishing on photos usually a little bit. I try not to go too wild and just keep it a bit simple, but I like doing washi tape clusters, as you will see. If you've watched any of my project life, you've definitely picked up on that, I'm sure. Here's the bronze pen I was talking about from Creative Memories, and I really like writing on photos with pens lately. The photo paper that I use is from Staples, and it works quite well with pens. I do like how quickly most of my pens dry on this photo paper, but I know that some other papers, especially if you get them printed at a store or order them somewhere, the paper is different and it's got a shinier finish and it doesn't quite allow the ink from the pen to dry, which is a bit of a pain. But this paper in particular, it dries really fast, so I quite like that. So just be careful if you do write on your photos. I would test it on a sort of a practice photo or something, which I actually did do. If you saw me using the bronze pen just before I wrote on that photo, I tested it on another photo of the same paper. So yeah, I would always recommend testing that because it's the worst if you have to reprint your photo due to the ink never drying or the words smudging. It's just a real pain. So here I'm working on the first shaker pocket, and I just adhered my photos back to back, and now I'm going to stitch right above them. I didn't stitch through the photo paper at all. You could if you wanted, but this was just the look that I'm going for. And then I'm going to pick out my sequins that I want, which is my favorite part, just filling up those shaker pockets. It's so much fun. And so I decided to use some orange and blue and green, and I always try to pick colors that will coordinate with both sides of the page. So the orange picks up on the sushi colors on the other side, and then there's blues and greens on the front side. So I use washi tape on the pictures to sort of tie it in. And I'm also adding some green glitter. I just like how that adds another dimension and it adds variation instead of having all the sequins the same size. It just adds a little bit of extra. So it was a bit hard to actually sew this skinny pocket and keep the sequins from falling out. So I had to keep pushing them back into the pocket. And it was a bit challenging, so if you haven't stitched on plastic before, I'd recommend testing it first, just so you get used to how it moves. But it is a bit hard to do, especially when the sequins are all trying to escape at once. And then I am just adding that gold washi tape on top on both sides. And I like how that just sort of finishes the edge. You can still see the stitching beneath it as well. And I didn't record the other photo on the other side, but I just added some washi and a label basically, which you'll see coming up in the slow clip. And on this one, I'm just pulling that orange color down to the bottom using that washi tape. So I have the orange sequins, the orange sushi, and then the washi tape as well. And I just really like how that works. This green paper ties in with the sequins as well, which I love, and I'm just using my Jasmine Jones roller stamp here. It's from a Studio Calico kit, and I really like these words. They're all food related, and I just add a bit of journaling beneath that as well. So some of those words say dinner, nom nom, food coma, tea time, and hangry, and I really like all of those. And then you'll see the label here that I added with a few staples as well. I really like how that page turned out with the shakers. I think that's probably my favorite thing to do in pocket pages right now is add sequins to shaker pockets and just make all kinds of different shaker pockets. There's so many possibilities. So I did the same thing here on this page. This is a 6x8 page protector, and I just threw some sequins in the bottom first and then stitched straight across. It's about 1.5 inches from the bottom. That's how wide the sequin area is, and as I mentioned before, these photos I'm using are 6 inches wide by 4.5 inches tall, so they wouldn't fit in the regular 6x4 slot, so I decided to put them in this 6x8 page protector. And I just added that orange paper at the top. I thought about doing red to accent the roofs on those buildings, but I thought that would take away from the photo and be a bit too bold. So I like how the orange ties in with the sort of bronze color sequins, and it also ties in with the rest of the pages, how I've been using the orange accents. And instead I used the red letters to pull out that red color of the roofs there. And these black stickers are making memories. There's some really old ones, and I mixed those two fonts with my own handwriting as well, and it reads Explore the Town, and I just stamped the date. So that is that page. I really like mixing different fonts like that to create a title. And now on the back side, I'm just going to use this photo. Again, it's the 4.5-inch tall one, and I'm cutting this sort of orangish brown paper, and it really ties in with the bronze sequins that I've added in the shaker pocket. I quite like how that worked together, so I thought it was a good color. And there's sort of some like brown grasses and stuff in the photo, and it ties that in as well. I really try to tie in the colors, and because these photos, there's so many outdoor ones, they all have greens and blues, so that was a obvious choice of color. But then I also threw in the orange and bronze just as sort of an accent, but it surprisingly tied in quite well, even though it's not really a natural color. It worked out. So I just threw in that greenish blue washi tape, which again ties in the sequins nicely. And now I'm going to spell out the word Fairmont because that was the name of the hotel that this conference was at. And I'm just using those small Cosmo Cricut tiny type stickers to spell that out. And I'm just using my handwriting to spell the rest of the title. And I use capitals for the title, and then I'm going to use my normal printing for the rest of the journaling here. And next I'm going to go into, well, I guess I'll show you a close-up of this first, I believe. I'm not quite sure what's coming. Yeah, here we go. So there's the close-up of the journaling. Jasper is such a wonderful town. If you ever get the chance to visit, there's so many things to do in winter or summer. Lots of different activities. We went as kids once with my family, and we went on a train ride, a passenger train, which isn't really a normal thing here in Canada, so it was really cool to do. So to add this map ephemera to my book, I'm just taking my tab punch and then punching holes in those tabs using my crocodile, or my big bite, I guess, and I'm putting those tabs right in the binding of my book, and I'm just lining up the map with the page behind it because I wanted it sort of to line up with the height of that 6x8 page. And then I just put the tabs on there so you can see that it fits perfectly, and it's easier to do that than eyeballing it. Here I will go into the animal videos, and I hope that you really enjoy these. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you are able to check out my blog. There's a ton more photos, detail photos of my projects over there. And please also check out my new class on Big Picture Classes. It's all about art journaling, and it's called Beneath the Surface. I'll link that below as well. And check me out on Instagram too. I'm StayBeautiful84 over there as well. Thank you again so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful week.